Welcome to the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger. We're going to give you all of your mortgage news, all of your real estate news, what's really going on in the Central Florida market, the nationwide mortgage market, the nationwide real estate market. We're going to talk about all kinds of things today. I'm going to dive into, I've got three things I wanted to get into today, Bruce. Getting ready to sell. I've got a 50-point staging checklist, things to do, things not to do when you're ready to sell. But sometimes that prep can start years before. We're going to talk about how property management can cost you big. We're going to talk about that. I just had a couple clients I met with this week. The money lost was just massive amounts if it's done wrong. Risk. We're going to talk about risk, big or small risk, what's right for you on how much to take. And we're going to talk about that. We talk about our Leapfrog program and being an investor, being an owner, being a landlord. We're going to talk about risk and how that, how much is good, how much is bad on that. What do you got today?
I got a lot of things to talk about. We want to cover what interest rates are doing, what people are doing in the market right now, how people are buying homes, what techniques are they using to be able to, offset some of these higher interest rates that are out there right now. So people are buying homes. Who's buying homes? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it move-up buyers? Is it downsizing buyers? Is it investors? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then I want to talk a little bit about some programs that are very popular right now in the market so that if you're considering buying a home, you know what to look for. I want to cover my physician loans. If you're a physician out there, you need to know exactly what's available for you as a physician. There are some special programs. I want to talk about my buy now, sell later bridge loans and the things, the way a bridge loan works. I wanted to discuss that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Hometown Heroes and how much money there's left for you to utilize as a hometown hero.
That'll probably run out this month, right?
I'm expecting by the end of the month, it'll likely run out.
All right. Well, I want to talk. Well, I have people call me all the time, Bruce, about getting ready to sell their home. And more importantly, I'll have people call me years before they think they're going to sell about what improvements to do to their home that make it look good. So We're changing color schemes. There's the golds and the browns and the taupes are gone. Everything's white and gray and marbles and laminate flooring, luxury vinyl plank, things like that. But more importantly, it's more personal. I've got a gentleman, kids are going to college in 2 years. He was talking about doing a $150,000 pool. And it's like a $700,000 house, and that wouldn't be a bad thing. But I'm like,
you're not going to get 150 grand out of value.
That's the thing. And I said, you need to trim that back, maybe 80 or 100. I mean, part of it's going to be enjoyment. Not grandkids yet, but the kids enjoying that. But you're only there for 2 or 3 years, so these things come into play when you're looking at something. And I've talked to people because sometimes I've had some people talking about doing major renovations, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Save that money for the next home. Let's just go get you what you want. Or you want bigger, because like I did an addition to my house last year, and it was insane just trying to get that kind of work done. Small addition, 250 square feet and about 300 square feet. It was nuts just trying to get the help because all the contractors, it's just crazy what that takes. And if I wasn't on a lake and I couldn't find another house like mine, I would have just moved. If I just needed a bigger house.
And renovations, you have to be prepared for them. A lot of people don't understand what it takes. And, I think it's funny when people say, I'm going to do all that myself. Well, do you work? If you're retired, that's great. But if you work, it can start pulling away from the income that you make.
And
you're going to spend more time and probably not do it as well as somebody that's a professional.
And this is why the houses that are prepped right, I've got a 50-point staging checklist. When they look great and there's no work to be done, most people buying your home, the average house in Central Florida is in the mid $4s.
Yep.
Most people buying that home are not handymen. Handymen are like unicorns. If you find a good one, they're not going to be around long because most of the time they start realizing, hey, I can just build homes or I can do big remodel jobs and not be running around just painting one room and moving one wall.
Yeah.
So it's very hard. So when your house looks perfect and has very little work to do, you sell for top dollar.
Absolutely.
The one that's a fixer-upper project always sells for less. But I think that's for buyers. I think that's an opportunity.
Well, and you know what? If you don't want to do the work yourself and you want to sell your home as a fixer-upper, you just have to understand that you're not going to get as much money, but you won't have to spend as much money. And you'll advise people, like I'm assuming that not everyone that you meet that wants to sell their home has the desire or will to do the work that you recommend. So then you say, that's fine. If you don't want to do this, this is about what we're going to get for your property. If you do this, this is what we're going to get.
Usually people think they need to spend about 5 or 6% of the price of their home. And I'm usually telling them, maybe 1%,
Right.
2%. And it depends on what they need done or what their time frame is. But this is why I have a job, and I'll help advise people on this. Bruce, big news right now. What is going on
with Joe Biden?
Rates? No. There's nothing going on there. We know there's nothing happening there. What's going on with the rates this week?
Well, rates had held relatively steady. We're still in the high 6s, low 7s on a 30-year fixed rate loan for, good credit scores. 15-year can be in the mid to low 6s right now. You can buy it down into the 5s. But you know what we're doing a lot of? We're taking clients that are using our temporary buy down and getting that interest rate way down, like into the 5s, into the 4s. There are ways to do that. If that's something that interests you, then call me about a 3-2-1 buy down or a 2-1 buy down or a 1-1 buy down or a 1-0 buy down. We've got them all. And what they do is they allow you to get a lower interest rate for a temporary period of time. Now, this is not an adjustable rate mortgage because you qualify at today's interest rate, but you get a payment based on a much lower rate for a temporary period of time. Now, this is for people that do believe that interest rates at some point will drop and then they'll just refinance. I think that that's going to happen within the next 24 months. And after the last debate, I think it just might happen before that. Now, the problem with things right now that we noticed after the debate, and this is kind of a negative thing, not a positive thing, is now people are sitting on the sidelines going, hey, should I just wait for the election and then buy a home?
And this is something I've seen people, very, very, very rich people. And the one thing in common I'll hear them talk about is don't worry about politics. Just do it.
Yes.
And no matter, because and we're going to dive into risk later in the show, but buying a house, especially if you're paying rent, you don't own one yet. You need to get your first one, then get your next one, and then get your third and do the leapfrog. Or get a bigger home. If you don't want to be a landlord, just max out, Bruce. They should buy as much primary residence as you can. It's one of the best investments using leverage you can get.
Yes.
Don't you agree? And
100%.
And you're marrying the house, you're dating this rate. So, because we talked about this, there's a Fed meeting this month, and then there's one in September.
Yeah, that Fed meeting's on July 31st. That's not going to do anything. There's nothing going to happen.
The September one does.
Well, Cleve's got a bet here that, and I don't know, do we have any money on the line on that?
We got a steak dinner.
We got a steak dinner. Okay, is that legal? Can we do that?
Yeah, you can buy me. You can buy me when the Fed cuts the rate. You're buying me a steak.
All right, I will buy you a steak dinner.
If they don't cut it in September,
I'll do the cowboy steak for you. And but I don't think it's going to happen. But you could be right.
But this is the way. To get around these things right now, the buy down, because arms aren't out there. There's no arms.
No,
worth a darn.
The only one who wants to do an arm is a bank, and banks love doing them because it's more of a hook. Don't do arms. Listen, it was arms that got us into trouble during the recession. Don't repeat it. Learn from those mistakes. Don't call me for an adjustable rate mortgage in this market. Call me for a rate buy down. And then we'll talk about what we're going to do to refinance you when interest rates drop. But don't do an adjustable rate. Arms are like balloons. They're for clowns. We don't need them. Okay. Right. We don't. Now, if interest rates were 11%, then I'm going to talk about arms, but don't talk about it.
I had some great arm mortgages on some of my properties.
Yeah, but those arms don't exist anymore.
They don't.
The type of option arms that we had. And the reason they don't exist anymore is because not everybody could manage to use that as a tool for what it was designed for. They were making less than interest payments, and the homes were started to drop in value. So, all right, let's move on from arms and let's talk about some other things. How about Hometown Heroes?
You need to give out your number.
Oh yeah. Why don't we give out a number? You can call the Loan Arranger right now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Call or text that number. Go to WeBringYouHome.com for the Loan Arranger. Get your application started there. WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve.
All right.
Wait a minute. What's your number?
Loveland Properties, 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com if you need to sell a house, buy a house, or you're cursing your tenant. We're past the 5th of the month. You haven't gotten your rent, and they're late. They haven't paid rent late. They're tearing the house up. Call me. We can help you with property management.
Absolutely. So Cleve's available to help you with that. I want to mention something. We got a few more minutes here. Hometown Heroes came up with $100 million on July 1st. This is for first-time home buyers. First-time home buyer means you have not owned a primary residence in the last 3 years. You have to have income of less than $132,000, and you must have a credit score of at least 640. If you meet that criteria, you very well may qualify for Hometown Heroes, which gets you 5% of the loan amount towards closing costs, down payment, or escrows. So if that's something that you find desirable and something's keeping you from buying a home, do it now. This program will not last more than 3 weeks, and then it'll be probably another year before they get more money for it.
Yeah.
At least it won't be till April of next year. So it's gone. This is an advantage this is a program you can take advantage of. Call me now, go to my website, finish your application. We'll get you set up for it.
All right. Bruce, I want to mention, we talk about our average price in Central Florida is right around $460. We'll have some new numbers next week. We'll have that. The median price is like $370. That's most homes are selling that when you take out the big properties. And I want to talk about, I've got a couple listings here, Bruce, and these are great starter homes. I've got one in, for somebody downsizing here. I've got one in Royal Harbor for $299,000. That's $300,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And it's got it's got wood floors, fresh paint, fresh carpet. I've got one in Sand Lake Hills and Dr. Phillips. Actually, let's go to, I want to stay starter price range on these. Okay. I've got one in Kissimmee, $340,000 for 1,500 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths with a 1-car garage.
There you go.
It's all no carpet in the house.
Great starter home
on the water.
No.
I tell you once. I mean, you and I live on the water. I don't think I could ever live in a house.
Water? A ditch?
It's actually it's actually a very nice pond. It's a very large pond. You could probably stick a canoe in it. Somebody might yell at you. I don't know, but it's very big. You're not looking at.
But you have privacy back there.
You've got lots of privacy and a great view, sunrise and sunset, because the house faces north-south, or faces east-west. So you got great sunrise and sunset views, and that's at $340,000. So give me a call if you want to take a look at these. I've got one more in East Orlando for $348,000. That's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with a 1-car.
These are all under
under the median price. So great starter homes, great prices there on those. Call me if you want to take a look at any of those at 407-352-8118.
Yeah, and get yourself pre-approved for your loan so you can make a really strong offer on one of those. And all you got to do is get your application started at webringyouhome.com. webringyouhome.com, or call or text 407-250-9144 for the loan arranger. We'll get you fixed up. We've been in the mortgage business now for 35 years. I've closed tens of thousands of loan transactions, going strong, and I'm right here in your backyard. I promise you will not find a lender that will give you better interest rates, better closing costs, and take better care of you. And communication with my team is exemplary. Give us a call.
Well, I know if your team's got the loan, it's a loan. If your team's working on it, you're going to tell me, yes, this is a loan. We're going to get it done. And then with our one last minute we've got here before the break, tell everybody about Fast Track. I think that's what's going to be so important for buyers.
Fast Track allows you to negotiate a better deal because your loan is fully approved. So the progression for a client getting approved for a loan is pre-qualification, meaning you've talked to a lender and they pulled your credit. Then pre-approval, you've sent them all your documents they've requested, and then you go out shopping. But that's still a letter of pre-approval by the loan officer, not by the person that's actually going to approve your loan. So our Fast Track program is a proprietary program where I take your loan before you even shop for a home. I put it in front of an underwriter. We have it fully approved. It's a guaranteed done deal as long as you stay alive and don't lose your job. Then you can go out and I can close a loan in as little as 10 days. Now, most people don't want to close in 10 days, but if you tell a seller, my buyer's prepared to close in 10 days and the loan is fully approved, I will physically call the listing agent and let them know that my buyer is fully approved for their financing. And as long as the house appraises, I will guarantee that I will close on time, or I'll pay the seller up to $500 a day for every day we miss the closing.
All right, we're hard break.
You tell me who's doing that. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com.
Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. We'll be right back.